certainly help the schools tremendously and other parts of our community. The other thing is, I think it was Mark just brought up about these different things under the legislature with regards to taxes, and one was the veteran benefit. The veteran benefit only goes towards those veterans that have served in the Korean War or the Vietnam War. But we've had other things that have happened since the Vietnam War, and I think that needs to be updated to help some of our other veterans that are here. The other piece is, I think that, I know here in Teton County, our commercial properties have not been assessed appropriately and in a timely manner, and that needs to be done. One of the things that I was going to put in place is an advisory board that'll include people that have a tremendous background in the hotel industry, the commercial industry, the real estate industry, retail, and so forth, so that we really have a better understanding that we are truly assessing those properties at what they should be assessed at, and not just what the number system comes out of Cheyenne says they should be.
Okay, I'm going to wrap this one up. It's opened up a lot of different comments and issues. Every time I hear something about, commercial property assessments, things like that, just for example, you have to wonder, what is the cost of doing business here in this county? Rents are extremely high on commercial properties, and an industry or a business that comes in and gets a rent break for the first 3 years seems to disappear after the rents get changed to the proper level. And then I heard something about Teton County has made itself so very popular that the prices of lands, and therefore the assessed valuation has gone way up. I can't argue against that, but it brings to mind, perhaps, do we need to promote our valley as much as we do? So, next question, please.
Bob, was this advertised to go till 9:30, I believe?
Yeah, it's past 9:30 now.
That's about 9:40.
Yeah, I know. We'll do one more question.
Well, someone's have to go. Can we take a graceful act?
You can take a graceful exit, please. Questions? This right here first. Quick, briefly.
I've got a question. I'm surprised to see so many people turn out. I think Bob was expecting 15, and he ended up with over 20, so thank you all for showing. I have a question. This is going to be from left field, but how many of you have actually toured the bus bar? Hold your hand up if you've actually been there.
What was the question, please?
How many have toured the bus barn? To see what's going on, perhaps, to see where...
That bus barn is an example of waste. There's several $1 million.
It's not working. The mic's not working. Just speak up. Just speak up. The mic's not working. Thank you. Speak up. Go ahead.
There's several $1 million were wasted in the design of that bus barn. And it causes problems when you see spending done that way instead of being efficient. I think all of you at some time or another have a budget stack of things that you're funding. And somehow or another, a new one comes along and gets put on top. The first reaction of probably the majority of you is, how do I get more revenue? Where the first reaction I would like to see is going through that stack and seeing what you can reduce or eliminate. And so far, I only hear, because I've got hearing loss, I only hear one person that's kind of aboard that train. And I won't point her out because her red blazer kind of stands out. But I would like to see more efficiency of the use of the funds you have.
If there's a question, is there an answer to that? Just a general suggestion for discussion.
I'd like to make a comment. When I toured the bus barn, it was summer. We have much higher level of service in the winter than the summer. I was shocked. By my math, there was 7.5, it's worse than you think. There was $7.5 million of bus assets sitting there unused in the middle of a Friday in the middle of summer. So I would argue that if the problem is we don't have the drivers, I don't want to hear anything about paying somebody $15, $20 an hour to drive the bus. buses. We need a more efficient, effective bus system. We have taxpayer assets sitting there being unused. We've already paid for them. They're already there. Let's use them. Thank you.
Yes. I'll just follow up on that with, go ahead,
Well, I
quickly,
agree with the
please.
I agree with the gentleman entirely. One of the threats to the hospital, really, believe it or not, is housing and transportation. Not everyone can live in Teton County, but we must have transportation to get employees out to Driggs, out to Victor. And that bus barn just sits there, like you said, with all these assets, and it's not being, the routes are not being adequately, somebody's gotta do something about that.
Okay, just to wrap up on the bus situation, hang on a minute. I'd like to get some really accurate ridership information. That means I'd like to get about a dozen school kids riding the bus and marking down between each stop how many people are on the bus. You cannot see into the buses because of the blacked out windows unless they're passing in front of the sun or really bright street lights. So ridership information could be used to fine tune how the bus system works. Without it, you can't do anything.
So this isn't necessarily related to the bus stuff, but just to address your concerns about cost savings, I think there's a number of ways that the sheriff's office can collaborate with other agencies in recruiting, training, public outreach efforts to provide better service to the community and cost savings to the taxpayers. And I'd like to see that happen as well.
Okay, and go.
One more quick comment about the buses. I completely agree as somebody that has been an avid Start Bus rider, and I would put the question out to the other candidates. There are some that ride the bus, but for over a decade, hundreds and hundreds of trips a year. I certainly enjoy those buses. That bus barn, I think, could have absolutely been more fiscally responsible, and something that some of my fellow constituents have brought up is we have another huge series of buses in Teton County from the school district. They don't sleep inside every night. So I think that there's certainly things that happen in that process that are frustrating, and I think the county commission should and will address that moving forward. And I think that that's the keen eye we need to get to have electeds keeping an eye on it, so we don't run into this problem again.
Okay, before it gets on to lunchtime, one last question.
Okay,
Speak up, please.
okay, the, north of town, well, this is a transportation, not a question, more or less a statement. Skyline Ranch, Highway 22, you don't wanna travel it 80% of the day, because of the backups. The airport was built 50, 60 years ago. Teton Village, 40 years ago, 35 years
50.
ago. Why don't we have transportation directly from the airport to the village? We need that question considered.
He's talking about the North Bridge, possibility of a North Bridge route.
North Bridge, anything. They spend so many millions of dollars on a bike path and which accommodates just a few people.
There's no airport passengers using the bike path.
I know.
Okay. So the question is, North Bridge concept for getting around and also as a redundant road of transportation across the river in case something happens from a security standpoint. Where can we go with a North Bridge issue? Any hope for that? What kind of dynamite would it take to get that out of the starting gate?
Well, I think it'll be funding, and we're sitting here, coming down on START, asking for less from START.
Yeah.
But we absolutely need START to be servicing our airport. We can fly anywhere in this country, get on a public piece of transportation, and get to our destination after we've landed. At any commercial airport I've ever been to, at least. So I think we can battle the North Bridge all you want, but I think that fellow Republicans and Tea Partiers in this group, it would be really hard for me to support it. Not only due to that, because the astronomical number that has already been studied is not something any of us want to face, and we're talking about funding sources as a single mil, a quarter mil, a half a mil, and I think first, before we start talking about that North Bridge, let's get some transportation up there, so I can hop on a bus in town, I don't have to drive up there, and I can get off and get on my flight.
Okay. Any closing statements? Rex, go ahead.
I'll just, tell me if I'm wrong, but there was land issues with
Yeah,
that.
there are.
With maybe even park issues. Is that right?
There is some land that's been set aside, but there's also private land that have to be acquired, or what do they call it, condemned. And so, yeah, there's a lot of issues. It's been talked about for decades. It hasn't gone anywhere. I just wondered, what would it take to get that rolling? I don't know.
I think it'd probably take a legislator to bring it forward and a governor to back it.
Yeah.
And as a former, resident of this county, I love this place over here. I grew up over here, but the roads are terrible. I mean, you can't get around. And I would back that as a state project.
Yeah.
And if we had to use some eminent domain, I don't know. I would be willing to look at that, because it is necessary. That would really reduce the traffic over there.
That's what you call a long-term issue, I believe.
Oh, depends on who's the governor.
Any closing comments from the head table? Anybody want to say? Anybody want to
Say thank you.
say how bad this was? There are still some munchies back here and coffee, so grab some for your lunch.
Good job, Bob.
Thank you.